name is Irene Becker, and I welcome you to Passion Point, a show about your passion, your purpose, your potential. The goal, the importance of really grabbing onto our passion and making a difference is so critical to our world, to our lives, to our organizations. Today, I'm thrilled to have 3 women with me, power women, women who are making a difference, women who are living their passion. I want to welcome Jennifer Desmond, an award-winning nurse, a surgical nurse who has won multiple awards, not only for her great nursing ability, but for being a volunteer in the community. She is also the founder of an extraordinary organization called RROPE, which reaches out to women to help them find greater autonomy, improved health, and also combat one of the greatest problems we face, violence against women. It gives me great pleasure to welcome a woman of passion, purpose, and potential. Welcome, Jennifer Desmond.
Thank you, Irene, for having me here.
You're very welcome. Jennifer, how did you're a surgical nurse. You've won awards for your work. Obviously, nursing entails having a lot of passion, doing something that has a purpose. How did you move from that to RROPE? Tell us about RROPE. What does it stand for? What does RROPE really mean to the community and to you?
Well, RROPE, actually, RROPE, stands for Rexdale Rebuild Outreach Programs and Education. I tend to use my nursing, I chose to use my nursing to develop RROPE because there was a need at the time. I had had surgery and I have a medical background behind me, but yet I was terrified as to what was happening inside of me. And I thought, if I have a medical background behind me and I'm terrified, what about women out there who don't have any medical backgrounds behind them? They're single mothers, they're caregivers, they're going through issues of their own. How are they coping? So that was actually the premise to birth RROPE.
Okay, so RROPE came out of a desire to help other women with health problems. But it grew from that, did it not?
It certainly did.
You not only deal with health issues, you deal with violence against women, empowerment for women.
We certainly do. Well, at the time that RROPE was developed, it was actually developed for an ailing community, which was Rexdale. Rexdale had gone through a lot of issues, gun violence. A lot of their women were being left at the roadside. They were going through a lot, and so I came from Rexdale, and I thought, with my nursing background, Rexdale would be the first place that I should really go back to and try and empower those women. Since then, RROPE has evolved. We have developed multiple programs. We are looking for a home in Rexdale. Right now, we are located on Weston Road, but it's a sublease through a friend of mine who is a doctor, a naturopathic doctor, who would open her doors to us. But it takes away from where we need to be, and we need to be in the heart of Rexdale for our programs. In terms of WAVE, WAVE stands for Women Against Violence Education. And
Okay, I want to hold this up. WAVE. Now, I have to stop you for a second because I'm passionate about WAVE. Women have to stand up against violence. Not only violence that impacts them, but violence that impacts our community and the world.
oh, of course.
So I think that this initiative of RROPE is so timely and so critical. Tell us more, Jennifer.
Well, with WAVE, you know, we are our sister's keeper. And there's a lot of issues that happen behind closed doors that people don't know about. And there are women who are living behind closed doors who are screaming out for help, but they don't know where to go for help. And with WAVE, actually, I have to tell you that WAVE was developed at Ryerson University in 2010. I was in a financial management course when the vision of WAVE came to me, and I approached 2 of my other colleagues in that class, Jacqueline Nugent and Rosemary Clark, who are also, Rosemary Clark is a research nurse, and Jacqueline, she works with the elderly, and I brought them together and said, look, I have this vision, and I have a program for would you help me? And so we got together and we developed RROPE, which is recognized by the Ryerson community. As you said, I've gotten an award for it, the Josie M. Billich Award, for that recognition. But it's not about the recognition, is what WAVE can do for the women. And it's a 7-week program, it's a certification program. It's meant to empower the woman and to give her the premise to take back her environment. Regardless to what kind of abuse that she's facing, there's all kinds of abuse that go quietly along the wayside because people just turn their backs, they turn their faces, they don't want to have to deal with it. But it's a big issue, it's becoming even bigger. It's not only in Toronto, it's around the world. Women are dying. I can give you stats as to women are dying because of the abuse that they face. And I'm hoping that WAVE would be a powerful program to not only empower those women, but to give them actually resources and an avenue to get out of where they are, or if they must live in that situation, how to protect themselves.
So within 7 weeks, the program will take people through empowerment, finding their own power, solutions to the situation they're in. There is an incredible need for WAVE. Are you a woman who's experiencing violence? Do you know somebody who's in a violent or abusive relationship? The first step to getting help is awareness. If you need WAVE, if you know someone who needs WAVE, stand up now. Reach out to your sisters. Make a difference. This is a critical program, and I think it's an important program that should be everywhere in our city.
I want to let you know, Irene, the components of the program is really, really important to that woman facing any kind of abuse. For instance, the first workshop is recognizing potential dangers. Then we have a class on self-defense and how to protect yourself, especially walking at night. The streets of Toronto is becoming very unsafe, and that's anywhere. But women could be empowered to protect themselves in any strange environment they're in. There's also a workshop for coping mechanisms and interpersonal self-development. There's one for personal and spiritual development. What I'm trying to show you is that we are looking at the person in a holistic sense, in a holistic point of view, because you cannot, a woman is facing so much already. She's going through not only physical issues, spiritual issues as well. So we want to address all facets of what she's going through. There's also a workshop for community involvement and independent living preparation. And like I said, you know, it is a certification program. At the end of the day, the woman is the one that must take up the mantle for where she is and where she is in her life and what's happening with her. And I believe that with such WAVE as an example, could offer that to many women of any background. You know, we are a sister's keeper, and if we don't step up to the plate, who will do it? We've been promoting this program, and we're really set to go. All we need is those women to come forth that are looking for a way out. They're looking for a new way to live, and they're looking for a way to get past that little box that they've been stuck into. You know, we believe that the box is bigger than how it looks.
So if you're a woman who needs WAVE, if you're facing violence, if you have an abusive situation, it could be with a spouse, it could be with a boss. I mean, abuse takes many levels. There are emotional abusers, physical abusers, sexual abusers, financial abusers. If you need to move out of the narrow box you're in and find empowerment, and you need WAVE, what does someone do? Do they contact you at RROPE, Jennifer?
Of course. They can certainly we do have an office.
Yes.
Our office is located at 4250 Western Road, Suite 101 in the Toronto area. We're just 1 block south of Steeles on Western Road. We're located in the clinic, Healthwise Rehab Clinic. We do have some space there. Our telephone number there is 416-742-7246, or my cell phone. I give women my personal cell phone because I want to have that personal connection with that woman. I can meet you anywhere. These programs are confidential and they're very safe. They're taught by professional women from different backgrounds. We're not going to bring a woman that's going through so much to be taught by a man who she's already resenting. We want to empower her to get back home to her husband to face what it is she's going through. So these programs are taught by professional women who come from all sorts of backgrounds. So I'm really excited about that. And like I said, my cell phone number is 905-691-9140, or they can always go online, www.rrope.com, that's our website, or my email address, jdesmond_rope@hotmail.com.
Wow, that's terrific. Jennifer, thank you for an initiative that's so important. I mean, you know, from a sister-to-sister perspective, the imperative of stopping violence against women is critical. But also in terms of our world as women, violence grows, and we're not only our sister's keeper, we're our brother's keeper too.
We're our brother's keeper.
And we need to stand up and say no to violence and abuse. We need to get the tools to move forward. We need to make a wave all over our city and set the bar for other cities.
And we have recognized that men face abuse too. It's not only women, but the majority of the cases that we have investigated is against women. And so there's got to be something about that. There's got to be something done about that. Women are they're natural nurturers, they're natural caregivers, they have big hearts, and they tend to take care of those same men that abuse them. Why should we allow it to happen? It's just, you know, as a nurse, my background is surgical nursing, and I see a lot of people come in being abused by their fathers, their you know, by other women, by their spouses. It's not a nice thing. My heart sometimes, it just gets so overwhelmed. And I guess in a way it has empowered me to step forth, and I just want to make a difference for women. My background is not as pure either. I've suffered at the hands of men. I've suffered in abusive relationships, and I think having that experience behind me also, it gives me the experience to go forward and to know what other women might need, because I've been there at some point in time.
Well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, as somebody who's lived through domestic violence, did you always, like, how did you get through it? Did you tell yourself that you would turn this into something positive? What is it that pushed you, like, gave you the empowerment to get out of it?
To be honest with you, Irene, I was not empowered at all. I became a victim, and it's not that I didn't know what to do, it's I was afraid to do it. And I feel most times women are in that position. They want to take that first step, but they just don't know how. They don't know who to trust, they don't know where to go. And there's a lot of resources out there, but sometimes it has to come closer to home. You know, when I was going through it, I felt very powerless. I ran away, I lived in shelters, but at some point in time, I needed to take control of my life, and it was the most scariest thing to do. And I just wish that programs such as WAVE was out there for me. I had to make my own path. I suffered silently, and I vowed to make a difference, and here I am.
Hallelujah. Well, I mean, we share something in common. I also went through domestic abuse many years ago, and I really think that there is a way out, there is a solution, and it's a solution that can not only help you if you're a victim, but it can change your life, your children's lives, and the lives of others. Get empowered. Contact Ms. Desmond. Become a WAVE champion. I know that I'm going to champion WAVE because we can all make a difference, and we have to say no to violence. No more. No good. Enough. Jennifer Desmond, huge power to you.
We are our sister's keeper.
Yes. Hallelujah.
Thank you, Irene.
Thank you. This is Irene Becker, and welcome back to Passion Point, a show about your passion, your purpose, your potential. We are now speaking with Susan Summers, former PR guru, 35 years in PR, helping people really build incredible footprints for their businesses. Susan turned around to launch her own business. Is it PR? No, it is Power Source for Women. And what is interesting about this? A lot. But the most interesting thing is that this is Power Source for women over 45. I want to welcome a dynamo who shook up the PR community. Now she's shaking up women over 45, which I think is pretty damn hot.
Thank you.
Welcome, Susan.
Thank you.
Tell me about Power Source for Women. I see the running shoe. So I'm going to ask you, are you going to make me do exercise?
No, absolutely not. Unless you want to.
Well, it might be a really good thing. This might be the start of something new and wonderful. Tell me about Power Source. Tell me about your new business.
Power Source for Women was launched in January.
Yes.
And it evolved because I did 2 marathons in my 60s.
Wow.
Yeah, and in 19...
Now, how does somebody do 2 marathons? Like, have you always been doing marathons?
I have not, and I wasn't even into fitness. I was a sporadic person who would go to a health club and then quit. And then in 2002, I was working for the YMCA Markham Business Center, and I received a free membership to the Y. And so I started going there. Mm-hmm. The next year, I decided to go into a 5K walk. And it was in the beaches, and I remember my first race. I left afterwards and went home, had a glass of wine, and I received in the mail 2 weeks later a pair of socks and a certificate saying I was first in my age group.
Oh, wow.
And I was hooked. So that basically is how it started. You know, I felt the power
So it was that
of it.
competitive edge, that empowerment of being able to do it.
That's right. And making it manageable. Because it took me about 45 minutes to walk that 5K, the first one.
So Power Source, your business, is fitness tools for women over 45?
That's right. And the book is divided into mental, physical, and emotional fitness. And it provides all kinds of strategies and tools, as well as stories of women who've been successful. Women who have overcome obstacles like breast cancer or divorce or starting a new business and have come to fitness in that way.
And this is the nuts and bolts for women over 45, because, I mean, it has self-assessments in it. It's great.
It has a journal.
It has a journal. What doesn't it have?
No, I think that someone would get that book and
Yeah.
then hopefully they'd be inspired. And one of the things that we did was we invited women to join us in a 5K walk or run. We did it last spring, and we're going to do it again next spring. So what it doesn't have is a place to go after that. And so we've now built that in, that someone can get the coaching or they can come to a race with us. So we want to make sure that they stay motivated.
Isn't that great? So tell me, in terms of Power Source and your passion for helping women 45 plus become stronger, become healthier, was this, like, how did this passion evolve?
Well, it's interesting because I was short and overweight as a child.
Yeah.
And the last one picked for the teams. And then at 16, I discovered smoking. And from 16 to about 35, I used smoking and Diet Coke and diet pills to control my weight.
Yeah.
And then in 1982, I stopped smoking, I got divorced and started my PR firm and gained 30 pounds. So then I said, okay, so those tools weren't working, what am I going to do? So really it evolved from me saying what I'm doing is not working. And it really was always the yo-yo, losing weight, gaining weight. And so I had to find a new way of looking at myself and my body. And I think when I started at the Y and started to go to classes, I still do weights classes, as well as doing some jogging and walking. I was able to find new ways to feel better about my body.
So, I mean, you know, 45 and up is an interesting age for women, where you face many challenges. Right?
Yes.
I mean, it's a different period in life for a lot of women. And I mean, divorce happens at that age, menopause, all of a sudden you're an empty nester. I mean, your whole life shifts. So what would you advise somebody at 45 plus? Me, I have 45 pounds to lose.
Okay.
I have to push myself to go to the gym. How can I not push myself, but get up at 6 in the morning and just be elated and say, I'm going to be there?
Probably the strongest thing for me was finding a group of women at the Y, and they're all 45 plus. And I've been going there for almost 10 years, and I'm there 5 or 6 mornings a week. And that is my motivation, that I go there and they expect me. So the accountability team, sharing it with someone, saying to somebody, I really want to do this, finding people to do the fitness with you, finding a trainer.
Now, let me ask you, your group at the Y, is it called Power Source?
No, it's just a group of women who go to the Y.
Now, can anybody come and join you?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So tell us about the group.
Okay, well, it's the YMCA, and we're there at 6 in the morning.
Okay, and which Y is it?
It's the North York one at Shepherd and Bayview.
Okay.
And we, some of us go on the treadmill, some of us walk. This
Yeah.
morning, for example, I have a friend I've walked with for the last 8 years, every Tuesday morning,
Oh,
winter
wow.
and summer, for
Isn't
about
that
an hour,
great?
and we stop and we get coffee. And then other days I do weights classes, because I know I don't do weights on my own. So I really shake it up for myself a little bit. Some people go in the pool, so there's a whole group of people who do the aquafit. And that's what I think you talk about passion, is finding the fitness program that's going to work for you. And it takes
and
a
it
while.
inspires you.
And that, and then committing to it.
But this book tells you how to do that.
Exactly, exactly.
And it also has success stories.
Yes.
And I think it's really encouraging and inspiring to know that somebody has done this. I mean, 2 marathons, like one at 61 and 63. I mean, that's just really extraordinary.
Thank you. And the thing about the marathons was they each took me 7.5 hours. So that's why we have the mental part in the book, because really it's not just about telling your feet to move. It's really mental. After about 4 hours, I wasn't feeling my feet anymore. It was just, I was determined. And I think that's it, that you have to want something so badly. And you work up to it. I started with 5K, then I did a 10K, and then I did half marathons, and then I did 2 marathons. And I decided not to do any more marathons.
Now tell me about your new business, Power Source, and
Well,
your
so,
site.
yeah, so Power Source for Women, the business, started with some of the things we want to do are keynotes. I just did my first one at Copper Creek Golf Club for York
nice.
Central Hospital, 320 women, and it was very exciting. They all got a copy of the book. But we also want to offer workshops. We want to offer retreats, weekend retreats. I'm doing my first fitness cruise in February. If
Oh,
anyone's
where are you
interested.
going?
We're going to the Caribbean for a week.
Nice. I want to come.
And as I said, and then the other thing is to put together this team that we can go into races
Yeah.
and walk or run for the 5K and inspire
I
women
want
to
to
do
stop
this.
you. What is a fitness cruise? Now, in February, Susan is having the Power Source Fitness Cruise to the Caribbean.
Right.
Sounds wonderful.
So what it will be is on the boat, I'll be doing 2 half-day workshops that will be based on the book. And then we'll be doing some walks and a bit of hiking on land when we stop at the different places. And it's really just to get women to have a dialogue about fitness and to meet other women and to share some of their stories, some of their fears, etc. So
And we
that's
were
what we're
talking
doing.
the last segment about, we're all our sister's keeper. I mean, the importance of reaching out and sharing and supporting one another. Would you not say that that was one of the linchpins in terms of powers, in terms of your path to health and strength and running marathons?
I think it's done 2 things. One, I really like to share with women
Yes.
my story and what's happened and to help them. But also, I like to go to, for example, when I go to a meeting, I share with people that I've done marathons because I think it changes the perception of a woman over 60. And that's part of my goal as well, is to show that women can be empowered, that women, are in charge of their lives, and that as they age, it doesn't
They can
have
get better.
That's right, exactly. It doesn't have to debilitate them.
So do you feel better now at 60 than you did at 40?
Absolutely. I feel so much more comfortable with my body and
Oh,
with
isn't that
myself
great?
and taking risks. And yeah, I definitely feel more comfortable,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really inspiring.
Thank you.
So what would your advice to women over 45 be in terms of finding their power?
Well, one of the things that the first chapter of the book is find your fitness passion. You talk about passion, right? And so find something that
you love to do.
Either you used to do when you were a child and stopped, or you did as an adult and stopped, or that you've always wanted to do but never have done it. And just reach out and see what it's all about. Revisit it. And so doing that, for me, it was the walking and the jogging, the way I started. Just doing that can get you started. And then find, as I said, a group of people and set realistic goals, because you don't want to be disappointed that you can't achieve something. So I think that's really key. Overcome obstacles. My biggest obstacle is getting out the door every morning. So I have my clothes, I put on all my clothes.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. I mean, that's one of the hardest things. Once you're there,
Yes.
you execute. But going from your bed to the gym or from your bed to the walk, I mean, that's the...
And that's where I think the classes come in. The fact that there's
Yeah.
a class in the morning and I'm going to be there. But you know what? I've had to trade evenings for mornings. So for example, I can't be out every night until 11 because I have to be up early. So you really have to say, what does it mean to you? And I also don't play games with myself. I know that if I stopped going for a month, I could stop going altogether. So I just basically each day commit again to doing it. And when I get there, realize how great I feel.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Thank you.
That's wonderful, Susan. So tell us about your next, like if we want to know about Power Source, your website is?
It's www.powersourceforwomen.com.
Okay.
And we are posting upcoming events, etc.
That's great. So there are going to be more Power Source events. And do you do one-on-one work too, Susan?
The woman, my partner who I did the book with, has
Yes.
a psychology background, Teresa Dugwell, and she does the one-on-one. So I'm more the group side of it, and she's more the
Okay.
one-on-one coaching.
Okay, so whether you are a woman 45 plus and you want to get healthier, get powerful in a group setting or one-to-one, you know where to go. www.powersource.ca or .com?
Power Source for Women.
powersourceforwomen.com.
Right.
I'll repeat it again, www.powersourceforwomen.com, the place for women over 45 to get empowered, to get healthier, to really rev it up, because it's the best time in your life and it's time to savor it. It's time to live it with passion, and I think that you're just an inspiration. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think the key for me is I really didn't want to get injured along the way, so really it's been very important for me to take care of myself, even as I am doing the working out, eat properly.
Susan, I think it's really incredible that you did marathons at 61 and 63. And when I was in my 20s, I used to run. But even if I took up running again, I don't think I'd want to run a marathon.
Well, you know,
So what else, like, is there, if you want a challenge, if you're a type A personality and you want to start fast walking and move to running, is there something else you can aspire to?
Well, as I said, I think the good thing about that is you can start at a 5K.
Okay.
And it's interesting, I did 2 marathons and then decided never to do another one.
Okay.
And so now I do 2 half marathons a year, one in the fall and one in the spring. But the 5K is very nice because in under an hour you can finish a race, walking or jogging, and get a medal.
That's so
And
nice.
once you've done one, it inspires you to keep going.
Well, you mentioned to me, too, that you had actually run a race with your 6-year-old granddaughter, which is like such an incredible thing.
Yeah, so I want to mention Girls on the Run,
Yes.
which is an annual event that happens in Downsview Park in July, and it's for girls and their families, and the girls train. So we took my granddaughter when she was 4 and a half and said, would you like to do a race? And it's 5K. And the first year she did it in her stroller. And so we pushed the
wow.
stroller. We were exhausted at the end, and she got the medal. The second year, my husband said to her, do you want to do that race again, Lauren? And she said, yes. And he said, well, you have to walk, hop, skip, jump. I don't care what you do, but you can't be in the stroller. And she did it with him, with me following with the stroller behind her. But she finished and she got the medal. And I think it's really important to empower girls when they're young,
Yeah.
you know, from 5 to the end of the teen years, to feel good about their bodies.
Girls on the Run
Yeah.
is for what age of girls?
Well, I would say, again, the programs are in the schools, the training,
Okay.
but anyone can go to this race. You can find it
So
on
from
the
like
internet.
5 to 18? Or
Yeah,
5 to,
yeah. And so you get families, you know, and sometimes you get the father going as well.
Yeah.
But the idea is to empower girls, to feel good about themselves and their bodies, you know.
And God knows girls need that.
Yes.
Because as women, we tend to be very critical and judgmental.
And that's
Of
where
ourselves.
it starts, exactly. So yeah, so she's ready to do the next one.
Wow. So if you want to get empowered, if you want to get physically fit, if you want to be your best after 45, Susan Summers tells us you can do it. Runner of 2 marathons at 61 and 63. She's an inspiration to women who want to get healthier, get fitter, and get powered up. Visit powersourceforwomen.com on the net. Co-founder Susan Summers, thank you for being an absolute inspiration. I really look forward to reading the book, and I better start to become a power source. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Welcome back to Passion Point, a show about your passion, your purpose, your potential. Joining me now is Gloria Pierre, a woman who is a communications expert and also helps people with accent reduction. Now, Gloria came from the corporate machine to discover a passion for communication that has changed her life. And communication is, of course, the single most important factor in success in relationships. I'm very honored to have Gloria on the show. Welcome, Gloria.
Thank you, Irene.
Tell me, how did you go from corporate life to starting a business around communication and accent reduction? How did you find your passion?
There was an incident in the workplace years ago that caused me to look at the way I was treated. And I was treated in a way that was very disempowering. And I accepted it. I didn't question what I was told. I just accepted what I was told to be the truth. Months after, I realized, hey, I didn't question anything. I believed what they said. And then I thought, that's not going to happen anymore. After that, I did some research. I talked to a lot of people to find out how they handle situations, because in life we are faced with so many different situations, and we don't know how to handle them very confidently or effectively. And when we don't handle them confidently or effectively, we are perceived in a certain way. And what I have discovered through research, interviewing, and experiences is how you communicate is how you're perceived, and how you're perceived is how you're treated. So now I always ask my clients, how do you want to be treated? If you're not being treated the way you want to be treated, then look at the way you communicate. And the more I thought about that, the more I realized this is, as you said, the single most important factor in anybody's success. And so I started building a business around it while I was working full-time, doing this part-time. And every morning I wake up, I would dream it, taste it, feel it. It's like I was enveloped in it. And then I had to go to work. And eventually I left the corporate world, started doing this full-time. It hasn't been easy, as you know, being an entrepreneur. There are so many things that you have to look at. But I'm doing what I love. It's what I was born to do. And I see the results in my clients. And I see how necessary, how vital, how important effective communication is. And I just wanted to show you something.
Yes.
Here is dark, murky liquid and clear liquid.
Can we see it? Should we hold it up?
Okay. That is ineffective communication.
Okay.
That is when you don't say what you want, you don't say what you mean, yet you expect people to understand you. This is when you use filler words. This is when you use words that people don't understand, or use words with different meanings. This is when you don't organize what you're saying, so it's hard to understand. This is everything that ineffective communication is. On the other hand, clear communication is like this bottle of water. It's transparent, easily heard, easily understood. You are always saying what you want. Also, the container of these two messages, the bottles, is you. So whatever it is you are feeling inside, or whatever you are, is reflected every time you speak. So the communication that Clearly Speaking offers is holistic. It's internal and external communication, because we say so many negative things to ourselves, and whatever we say to ourselves is always translated in whatever we say. And again, perceptions are formed.
Or our body language.
Our
in
body
other ways,
language,
yeah.
yes. So am I living my passion? Yes, this is what I was born to do.
What do you think is the most challenging thing in communication for most people?
Not knowing what they want to say.
Okay,
You-
so focus.
Yes, in a way. You know up here what it is you want to say, but you don't really think about
How you're going to say
how
it.
you're going to say it, or take the time, so that what comes out of here is not necessarily what's in here, and yet you expect the other person to understand you. It doesn't always work that way. And then misunderstandings start.
The way you communicate is really critical.
It is.
And accent reduction, I mean, when we look at Toronto, in many ways Toronto is an experiment for the world.
Yes.
Because it's so multicultural. That being said, for people who come here from other places, you have to understand the general culture and you
Yes.
need to find a way to move forward. How important is accent reduction to most people who are coming to Toronto?
The most people who are coming, especially if they, and the majority of them speak English as a second language, the majority of people coming into Canada now can speak English. It's not like they cannot speak English at all. They can speak English. And their challenge is reducing their accents. The majority of services that are offered now are ESL, or English as a second language. It doesn't have, the programs do not have a large component of accent reduction. And so the folks who are coming to me need to be promoted. They're looking for better paying jobs, because the majority of people who come to me are well educated, well experienced, but they can't articulate what it is they need to articulate or show what they know. And that's the very essence of communication. So with my accent reduction program, I use vocal exercises and tongue twisters to help people to pronounce English words clearer. Because when they are speaking their own language, the tongue especially is in different positions in the mouth.
Yeah, and it's hard for them
And
to enunciate.
Exactly. So the exercises that I do strengthen the tongue. And again, lots of tongue twisters like Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. You know, so with the tongue twisters, it gives the whole training an element of fun.
So do you do accent reduction one-to-one or in groups, Gloria?
Both.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's really interesting. That's an interesting area. You must
Yeah.
do a lot of that.
I do. And, you know, one of the reasons that is I feel so fortunate that I am living my passion is not only living your passion, but also seeing the results of your passion, the transformation that happens. You know, there was a client who came in, this young lady was working and wanted a better paying job because her experience demanded that as a better salary. She came in for accent reduction. I think we did an 8-week program. After the sessions finished, she called me about 2 months later, a new email address, a new phone number. She's working with a new company, making 1.5 times more than she was making before. The majority of people coming in are, like I said, well-educated, well-experienced. And the only thing that's stopping them, or the only thing that's between them and a better paying job, a better lifestyle for their family, is the accent reduction.
So people have to really get clear on whether the way they're communicating is negatively impacting
Yes.
their careers. Now, do you have people that come for you for personal communication issues too?
Yes.
Okay.
And the personal communication, and these are people who speak English as a first language, so it's not a matter of accent reduction. But because of, and we all have issues, we all have had things that happened to us in the past that are impacting our present or where we want to go in the future. So we have to clear out a lot of that emotional baggage, and we are the only ones who can do it. And one of a large part of what I do is the self-talk, transforming negative self-talk, because we don't realize that we are doing it. And we do it so often. 77% of the things we say to ourselves are negative. So we don't really need enemies to tell us.
No, we
do
have,
it ourselves.
We do it ourselves.
Yes.
So somebody could hire you to help them get past negative self-talk, to
Yes.
change that dialogue.
To change the dialogue and then see the effects it has on all aspects of their lives.
So that's incredibly empowering.
It is. It is.
It must give you great satisfaction, and your clients too.
Yes.
Well, I love these books that you read. One of them, Key New Words.
Actually, it's new. It's a play on words. So K-N-E-W, the premise of the book is to use words you already know to expand your spoken vocabulary, hence the title. So K-N-E-W, words you already know. N-E-W is because you haven't been using them, you're using them now, so they're like new words. And it's a workbook, it's a dictionary, it's a thesaurus.
You can put it in your purse, your briefcase.
It's a pocketbook.
It's absolutely great. Now, where would somebody get this?
From my website,
Okay.
which is www.clearlyspeaking.ca. All 3 books were
This is really
self-published.
great. And this is ABCs of networking, which
Yes.
is another important thing.
Yes, and that is truly ABC. It's from A to Z of networking. You've got in there everything that you need to prepare for a networking event. Attitude, boosting your self-esteem, dress, should you go, making the decision to go or not, when you go there, what to expect, what to do after. And the ABCs is broken down into 3 segments: how to prepare for an event, what to expect during the event, and what to do after.
This is really critical because, I mean, for somebody who's coming here,
Yes.
I mean, to get used to, I mean, you need to network. You
Yes.
need to expand your social circle.
Yes, and that book was
So really, you
specifically-
need both these books.
Yes, you do. The networking book,
Communication and networking.
yes, the networking book was written for people who want to know how to network in North America, because in North America, for example, eye contact, handshakes. In certain cultures, you don't do those things, but
No, for sure.
in Toronto or in Canada, it's needed, because if you don't do it, people start
Like
getting
social
suspicious.
space is different culture to culture. I
Exactly.
mean, there are many little nuances that are,
Exactly. So that's why that book is very
and that will
critical.
help somebody who not only communicate better, but feel more empowered and confident.
And confident in situations.
You know, and able to really optimize going to a networking meeting.
That's right. Because everything we need these days can be gotten through networking. Because everything, you're looking for a job, you're looking for a new coat, you're looking for new wheels for your car, you're looking for a new house, whatever. Networking is the place to go, because the more people you know, the easier it is to get to what you want, and the faster
Which
it is.
again boils down to communication.
Exactly. Again, you have to know what it is you want.
Yeah, knowing what you want,
That's right.
being able to communicate, develop
Yes.
rapport,
That's right.
expand your circle.
Right.
Well, here we have an English guide to pronunciation. Become a powerful communicator.
Yes. This book is the result of years of coaching clients from all over the world.
Yes.
So the book it's from A to Z again. Each letter has the mouth position. So
Okay.
if you're pronouncing TH or V, how the lips are, where the lips are,
great.
and so forth. It's got words that are easily mispronounced by people who speak English as a second language. The phonetic pronunciation. It also has word usage, the origin of words, some grammar. It's a workbook, and it also has oral exercises.
So if somebody wants to get a sense of the great services you have to offer, the value added of being able to communicate better, accent reduction, improve your self-talk, they can go to your website and try one of the workbooks first. I mean, I think
Yes.
that this is so important, because even if you don't want to reduce your accent, you want to be able to pronounce properly.
That's right.
Because it's a huge detriment to go to a job interview, to be at a meeting, and mispronounce words.
Now, I speak English as a first language. In fact, English is the only language I speak. Yet when I was putting this book together, I learned so many things that I didn't know. And it's like, wow. So it's very critical. And also what I would like to tell you is that anybody who's interested in any services offered by Clearly Speaking, I do offer a free half-hour assessment, no obligation. Free half-hour assessment of your communications pattern.
Okay, do you need your communications pattern assessed? Do you want to improve your communication? Do you want to learn about networking in Canada? Reduce your accent? Just really become a communications dynamo. Feel more comfortable. Improve your career. Gloria Pierre is the woman to call. Tell us about your website, Gloria.
Yes, again, it's www.clearlyspeaking.ca, and my phone number 416-756-4926.
Gloria, as someone who's passionate about communication also, I thank you for your body of work and your great books.
Thank you.
It's really an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And I applaud your work.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Irene.
You're welcome.